All right, so this is a continuation of my last story a little bit. So basically, in the last story, the Red Pill story, I was at this local university for summer camp as a high schooler, and I had an awakening. So just to continue that, I actually wanted to just tell the entire story of that summer in one video because it was a crazy summer. So I'll paint a picture. We're a bunch of high schoolers, junior going into senior year, it's that summer, and we're all holed up in a dorm, basically at this local university for the summer. And, it's a bunch of guys. We get together, first couple nights, what's on our minds, like, yeah, some of the classes and stuff, what we want out of this program, but, also the girls as well, I can't lie. So we're talking about, who's caught our eye, who we're trying to talk to, all this stuff. And there's this guy I was hanging out with. He's a bit nerdy, but, he kind of comes from a similar background as me. His name is Rish. We'll call him Rish. And, he seemed to be, eyeing this girl named Lily. Lily was one of the finest girls in class, honestly. So we were all kind of rooting for him, and they started hanging out a bit, doing their thing. But I'll get to them later. So about me, a little bit about me at the time. I was, for some reason, really into Chinese culture at the time. So I was hanging out with like a lot of the Chinese international student cohort who was, just part of the program. And that was really fun, actually. They were really cool people. We would watch like movies together, like Chinese war movies. We watched this famous movie called Fang Hua. Might have gotten some international recognition, but basically it was Youth in English. But anyways, great movies we would watch together. And there was this Chinese girl actually that had caught my eye. And basically every Friday the university would host a ditty party. No, I'm kidding. They would host a like dance night, but like glow in the dark dance night every Friday. And I thought maybe one of these nights that would be my chance to impress this Chinese girl I was eyeing, right? So every day after class in the study halls at night when nobody was there, I would be practicing my moves, specifically breakdancing. There was these breakdancing was really big on YouTube back in the day. So there was this channel called like Vicani TV, Dietrich Dominic from that popular childhood YouTube channel Niga Higa, if y'all heard of that. Dietrich was big into breakdancing. So I was learning from some of the coolest guys on YouTube. The 1-step, 2-step, 3-step, top rock, you name it, I tried it. So Friday rolls around, I got my glow sticks on, glow stick armbands, glow-in-the-dark face paint on. I'm rolling up with my Chinese homeboys. We're all having a good time, right? And a dance circle forms. And this one guy actually pulls up to me. He's like, yo, I bet you can't beat me in a dance battle. And I'm like, yo, watch you swallow those words. Pause. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to beat you though. Like, you're going to regret saying that. So he goes, I think he goes first. It's been a couple of years, but he goes first. And he ends up just like doing crazy Fortnite dances. So literally just like Orange Justice, flossing, like the typical shit. I think this was around the time Fortnite was just starting. I think. But he was just doing some really basic dances. I'm pretty sure it was stuff like Orange Justice. Yeah, and it was crazy. So the whole dance floor like was erupting. The whole circle was erupting in like in a chorus for him, bro. They were going like go go go. They were going crazy over him, and I'm like, dang. I can break dance, so I'm probably gonna win. And I end up just like hitting the dance floor after that, hitting the like middle of the dance circle, and I'm hitting like the 2-step or the 3-step. And I just like pause. I just pause midway. And I freeze. I'm like, oh my god, like I totally fumbled it, totally messed it up. And he ends up coming up to me like, bro, you lost big time. I'm like, dude, that was such an L. So I end up leaving the party actually. And I actually see the girl. She's actually pointing at me. She's laughing at me. And I'm like, that's crazy. Did you see that? And she's like, yeah. And we end up talking actually. And like I said, I was really into Chinese culture at the time. So I actually had a WeChat. If y'all know what that is, it's a big Chinese social messaging platform. I had a WeChat, and I forget who asked for it, but I ended up getting her WeChat number. So we talk, we end up having like a bubble tea date. Basically, she's from this place called Inner Mongolia in China. So one of my friends, my Chinese friends, Ian, super tall, handsome guy, cool guy. He comes up to me and he's like, hey, like I can, give you some advice. Like he tells me about this region he tells me about Inner Mongolia. He tells me about some, Chinese pickup lines and stuff. It's silly, but we're in high school, just funny stuff like that. And the date ends up going all right. Ian actually asked me to accompany him. No, Ian asked me if he should accompany me on the date. just so I feel better because I was so nervous. And that was like my first time I felt like I was truly mocked. Like, Ian is so like a handsome dude. Like, I literally felt like, sorry, I said to move my mic, but I felt like if he accompanied me, he might literally like sweep her off her feet. Like, that was the first time I ever felt mocked in my life. It was crazy. But yeah, just me and her end up going out. And yeah, we end up not talking after that much. Like, our conversation kind of tapers off. We'll talk a little bit. I see her in the hallways, but there's no like second hangout. And around that time, something serious actually happened. So this is like the last 2 weeks of summer camp. And I get word that a friend of mine from high school had actually passed away in an accident. So yeah. And I had just spoken to her 2 weeks. Like, she had called during the camp. Like, she was an actual friend. This was not a stranger. She had called me during camp just to check in on me. She had this like pet she wanted to kind of get rid of, so she'd asked me if I wanted to take care of that pet. She was like a genuine friend, and you know, we had looked forward to spending the senior year together. We had helped each other a lot on like homework and stuff junior year. So it really fucked me up. I was crying in the shower. If nobody was in the hallway, like an empty hallway, I would just burst out crying. I just couldn't hold it in. It was bad. I told my professors about it. They were very understanding. But basically, I was at this point by the end of the semester, end of the summer, where I felt like I had nothing to show for it. I mean, yeah, no girl, but that's part of it. But also, like, no friends. I mean, I had isolated, like, for the 2 weeks, those last 2 weeks, I had, after hearing the news, I had isolated myself from people. I don't think I told anyone about it other than the professors, because the professors needed to know, because going back to that, having nothing to show for it, my academics too, excuse me, my academics, I had nothing to show for, right? I knew it was going to take a hit. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be in my best performance. Friendships, I had made very few, if not any. It was crazy. It was sad. So that's kind of how I was at. But going back to the original, the Rish and Lily, the girl's name was Lily, I think I called her. And those two were getting along. I kind of want to go back to that because something crazy happened around that time too. So me, Rish, and some other guys were hanging out in the common room one day. I'll never forget this. And he was talking to us about how he took her out to dinner, like at this nice restaurant with a patio. Like, this is all like friendly stuff too. Like, you know, guys and girls will also hang out as friends. He wasn't, to me, he wasn't insinuating anything to me at that conversation. And he was talking about, you know, just how he and Lily would hang out and stuff. And Lily, I'll never forget this, walks by, like storms by, and her face is flushed. It's red, but it's not with anger. It's with like a sense of shame, and she's embarrassed. Like, there's something like eating at her. It's not with anger, but she does yell at us. And she's like, I never did any of that. I never did that. Again, it's been years. I forget the exact words. Oh, excuse me, I think just talking about my friend kind of choked me up, but like, I forget the exact words, but basically, yeah, she yells something, I think something along those lines, and she just walks away. And actually, I end up never seeing her after that. Like, I think, she ends up probably graduating the summer, like, she probably gets her transcript, her little mini summer transcript, like, she probably does fine, but I don't see her after that. And I'm like thinking, like, who is that directed to? Like, I know her and Rish are friends. Like, he's just talking to us about, like, you know, grabbing food with her. Like, what do you mean she didn't do any of that? And I later realized I later learned Rish had been telling everyone else. Again, I was in my own world, so I wasn't really connected to everyone because I was in my own world. But he was telling folks that he had gotten with her. He had gotten a hand job at the patio restaurant, on the patio. And it was crazy. Like, people and guys believed him. And, you know, like, he was like I told you, he was a nerdy guy, right? So for a nerdy guy to kind of bat way above his league like that, like, he was getting clout from that. He was getting aura clout from that. A lot of guys were, just showing him respect, I guess. And it was crazy because suddenly that was all, not only all called into question, but like, he had ruined a girl's summer. She was called a slut, right? If you believed Rish, you thought that she was a slut. And back then, you know, 10, 12 years ago, if you were called a slut, like, it was a different world back then. You were in high school too. Your reputation was in tatters. Guys would look at you weird. Maybe even your girlfriends would look at you weird, right? It was different. And the guy, like, it was total double standards. We don't know what happened. We don't know about Reese. Like, Reese ended up, defending himself. He was saying, "Oh, she was lying. She's just embarrassed that she's, freaky. She's embarrassed she got with me." And, back then, like, play was play, game was game. Like, even if the girl was embarrassed at getting with you, like, we still thought that was cool. Again, we were in high school. Like, it was silly. Now if someone was like, "Yo, I'm someone's regret," if a guy was like, "Yo, I'm a girl regretted getting with me," like, we would laugh at him. But back then, like, we still kind of, like, praised him, thought he was cool. So at worst, he had lied about it. At worst, or at best, how about this? At best, he had kissed and told. He was telling the truth, but he had kissed and told. And that was still messed up, right? Because girls don't want that getting out, especially at that young age. And at worst, he had lied. He had just straight lied about what he had done. He had gotten no play, and he had ruined a girl's reputation for what? Just so he could look a little better, a little bit more like a chat. He might have totally ruined a girl's reputation. He definitely ruined a girl's summer. And I was in that camp where I believed that he was lying. Like, I believed he was completely lying at that point. Some guys just believed that, obviously, she was the one who was just freaking out. But yeah, I remember him reaching out to me over Facebook. I think even LinkedIn at one point. I remember, like, a Facebook friend request, Instagram, all this shit he would reach out on. And I never accepted any of it. But it was crazy seeing, like, good things can happen to bad people, bro. Like, at the end of the day, I recently checked his LinkedIn before I made this video. I'm like, yo, how is he doing? And he's making a ton of money, working in a solid industry. Even before that, I knew, like, I wanted to go to the university that we had dormed at, and I ended up not getting in. He ended up getting to an even better university than that. He actually ended up going to an Ivy League university. And I remember thinking at the time, like, damn, like, he had possibly not only gotten with this beautiful girl, or he lied about it, but he faced no social repercussions, but he also got into an Ivy League, and he ruined a girl's summer. And here I was alone, like, completely alone at the time, lost a friend, had no, and it just really had, I mean, that's not something I could have controlled, but at least, like, my social experience at the university, I had nothing to show for it. It was just crazy. I realized, at that time, like, good things can happen to bad people, and bad things like lies can happen to good people too. Rumors can happen to good people too. And I think that's basically it. It was just a crazy summer, in terms of all that just happening in the span of 4 to 6 weeks. But I just wanted to, a little takeaway from that for you guys. It's just to always, if you can, stand up on the side of truth. People will come and go. Even our friends will come and go. And sometimes it's not worth sticking up for them. It's always worth sticking up for truth because A, the lies can hurt someone if the lie proliferates. And B, you never want to go to bed knowing that you were on the wrong side of history. Being on the wrong side of history, it hurts probably far worse than, being disloyal to a friend, honestly. And I'm not saying I was on the right or wrong side of history. Again, I really didn't do much. I was in my own world at the time with all the stuff happening to me back in my hometown. But, if I was in a better state of mind, I do wish I would have stuck up. I never saw Lily again, but at least for the truth, and kind of just fought Reese on his lies, what I believe were his lies. But anyways, super random story. I don't really talk about it. And just another thing I wanted to just put out there is I'm just treating this as my little journal. Just saying stuff I don't really share otherwise, sharing stories I don't really share otherwise in person. But yeah, I hope y'all got something out of it. That's my takeaway. Those are my experiences. And take care, y'all. See y'all next time.